Check your buttholes.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome to Never Show the Monster. My name is Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander. Forgot my name there for a second.
That's fine. It's been a rough insert amount of time here. Today we are going to be talking about The Strangers Chapter 1, and I expect to an extent the original The Strangers.
Did you watch the original?
Literally hours before we recorded today, which I'm bummed about. I wish I'd watched it earlier because I
One to research after?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also did not look into the original as much, and I didn't rewatch it, but I wish I had. I did not have time to rewatch it like I wanted to, but I am interested to hear how it felt watching this one and the other one, and I need to know if your opinion is the same as mine or if mine is what it is because I have it the other way.
Yeah. So you had seen the original Strangers. When did you see that first?
In theaters when it came out.
In theaters when it came out. So that one was 2008, I think?
I think so.
And I had never seen it until today. And I know that it's like, I don't know, when I tell people I haven't seen it, everybody is like, what the fuck? So, so I know that it's like a staple of the genre. So you saw it in the theater in 2008. What was your impression?
I was blown away.
Is that the year Mamma Mia came out?
Is it the year Mamma Mia came out?
I think it might be.
What a great year for film.
It was a good year.
You know?
I really appreciate that you called Mamma Mia film. Because I do that. I agree.
It is. It's a work of art.
Yeah, 2008. Okay.
Great year.
Great year. Excellent vintage. Okay, sorry. What were you saying? I got so distracted by Mamma Mia.
That's fair. I remember watching it in the theaters being the most terrified I think I'd been at a movie. I'm trying to think of The Ring, maybe, was the time before that I was that scared.
Yeah.
But I hadn't been that scared in the theater. Ooh, the one scene in Signs, maybe. But, like, there are, like, punctuations of where movies make you feel so much terror, especially in a movie theater. And that movie did so good with the suspense. And, it was just a great movie. And I didn't expect anything of it when I went in, and there's not much to understand about it, I guess.
No, low on plot.
Yeah. But I've seen, a lot of the movies I've seen after it are like it, but like you have people with masks coming in to do stuff.
Yeah. And typical home invasion premise.
But that was the first one I ever saw, and I just really loved it. I really loved it. It was one of my top 10 horror movies, I would have said.
So what, 2008, you were 17?
Depends on what month it came out, I guess.
That's true, but ish, around that.
Yeah, ish.
So
50, there's a 50% chance that's true.
Right, yeah. Sorry, but are we talking 16 or 17, or could it be 17 or 18? 16. Oh, 17 or 18. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't do age math.
It's fine, baby.
We're very similarly aged, and I'm like, I don't know how old I was.
Mine's usually I am the age of the year after my birthday. So 18. And then I would be that going forward.
That's nice.
Yeah. Easy way to remember. Wish my birthday was in January because that would have made it even easier.
Yeah, mine's tail end of December.
Yeah.
But that's being around the liminal space. What's the word I'm looking for? The demarcation. The
New Year?
I know. I guess that's
the start of the. Does it have to do with
the boundary? Is what I was trying to think of. The limit? Was I like trying to do a math thing?
Maybe.
I don't know, fucking dork. Whatever. Being around the new year does make it easier. Yeah. None of that was important. My point was, so it's not like this is the first horror movie you ever saw. Like you were well versed.
I was already,
pretty
steeped in it.
You loved it.
I did. I loved it.
Did you How many times do you think you've watched it since then?
I'd probably say 4 or 5.
Okay.
And it was spread out, but I can't remember it very much. I haven't watched it in the last 10 years. I can say that for sure.
Okay.
So it's not super fresh in my mind, but should we say how we feel about it before I talk about spoilers?
Yes.
Okay. But okay. Should we talk about how you feel about the old one first?
Yeah, what's a good structure here?
I don't know.
So I think let me say this and then we can figure it out.
We don't know if we're aligned yet.
We don't know if we're aligned yet. So chapter 1, I think first of all, let's call this new one chapter 1 and the old one the strangers. Mm-hmm. So that let's just agree.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
On that from here on out so that we don't have to be like the strangers.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Chapter 1 is essentially beat for beat the strangers. So like plot wise, not a ton of different of like deviation, except the like shape of it, like the skin of the story. Does that make sense?
I think that's accurate.
Okay. Like the way you'd change like your desktop picture.
Okay.
Like it's still your desktop. There's just some like details that are different.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're saying that they are equivalent in...
No.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not.
That's what I'm worried about.
No. I mean, plot-wise, they're not a ton of like nuance between the two.
Yeah, agreed. And it has the same...
Yeah.
The same thing.
First this, then this, and then masks.
So how'd you feel about the strangers? The strangers.
Yes. The strangers. I don't think I liked it as much as everybody else does.
That's fine.
It was fine. Like, I enjoyed it. I'll probably watch it again. I think that it did a lot of things really, really, really well. Mm-hmm. And then it was just like one long, like there weren't any surprises, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's also difficult because you watched chapter 1, which was the same thing, but dare I say, bad, terrible.
Yeah.
So bad.
I guess I don't know that I'll go all the way to terrible.
Man, I will. But I also haven't rewatched Strangers in a minute. So maybe if I rewatch Strangers now, I wouldn't feel that same way. But if I'm chapter 1, it's going to be in my top list of probably most disliked movies I have talked about on this podcast.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Say more.
I mean, I don't know. I might watch Slapface again before.
Oh my God. I was thinking
#
today.
horror, maybe?
Oh my God. # horror. Today I was thinking, like, what are the worst movies we've watched? And # horror came up. And then I was like, I know we hated Unfriended at first, but...
Oh, so good, though.
We've turned around on that
maybe
one.
Maybe # horror and Slapface will come back. Maybe those will be two that we're like...
I'm not...
good.
I'm not super optimistic for those two.
That's true. I wanted to like this movie, and I also went into it... I know we're not... I just want to talk about chapter 1 because I didn't rewatch Strangers, so now I have like a... I can just go off of how I feel about this movie because now I'm like, man, was Stranger shittier? And I can't remember it now. But I think that a lot of movies after it use that trope. So if you've watched movies since then, Strangers wouldn't seem new. I don't think.
Well, that's not even really what I was, when I said nothing happened or there were no surprises. That's not really even what I mean. I just mean in The Strangers... we burn through the first and second act of the movie so fucking fast. And then we're in act 3 for like 80 minutes. And all of act 3 is scream, run, injured, scream, run, injured, scream, run, injured. Like there isn't any, like we establish the pattern in the movie and then we just do the pattern over and over. Mm-hmm. I don't even mean like compared to other movies. I mean like within this capsule of a movie. But I also, part of why I wanted or I regretted putting off watching it until today is that I was trying to think like that might have been part of the point. So, okay, we are like circling this for the listener. I'm sorry that we're a little bit disorganized. We genuinely don't like discuss these things before we come into it. Yeah. So I know, and I knew that Chelsea loved The Strangers, and so I was
It's okay. This is one that I'm not going to fight
my
for.
response.
Yeah, this is one I won't fight for. Like, if you didn't like it, I'm completely okay with that.
It's not even that I didn't like it. It was fine. Okay,
if you have criticisms of it, I am accepting, is what I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
There are movies that I will not accept it, and Dog Soldiers is that movie.
Yep. But oh, shout out to one of our listeners.
Oh, yeah.
She knows who we're talking about. She messaged us on Instagram, finally watched Dog Soldiers.
It's a perfect movie, 10 out of 10.
It's a perfect film. It's a perfect film. Just like Mamma Mia. So, okay, listeners, if you're unfamiliar with these movies.
You kind of just described it. Scream, injury, people in masks.
Yeah, it's basically that. I mean, it is a home invasion movie. So,
and that's it.
Couple,
I think you're done.
Isolated, cabin, strangers, masks, torment.
Yeah.
That's all. There's really not genuinely
more to it than that. Yeah.
It. Oh, you know what? One of the other movies that we had a terrible time with, I don't think it's a bad movie, but we had a terrible time with, Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Directed by the same director of The Strangers.
Oh, and I think that I remember when we talked about Dark and the Wicked, I was like, I thought I was going to like it because they did Strangers. Mm-hmm. I like Dark and the Wicked as a movie. Emotionally, it brought up too much.
Yes, exactly. Much. Like, bad. Not a bad movie, a very oppressive movie.
Yeah. So that we can like, we won't watch it again because we care about our mental health sometimes.
Well, here's the thing, is the next time I watch it, I feel certain will be the next time I am in a deep, dark, depressive episode. Because that is my want.
We'll record afterwards. And we talked about how we make the dark things light. Well, or we just laugh at them. I don't think if we make them light. I think we just think it's funny now.
Yeah, we meet the darkness where it is. And we laugh in its face.
Oh, God.
Okay, let's talk about Chapter 1.
Yes.
It stars Cheryl Blossom from Riverdale.
Yes.
Which longtime listeners will recall I used to be obsessed with Riverdale.
So were you happy to see her in this film?
I was, yeah.
I had high hopes.
I think that she was not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, not bad, but also not great.
I don't know that she had...
I don't know if this was her fault.
She was given an opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know if that was her fault.
Yeah, yeah. I also... Is it just because of Riverdale? She doesn't... You know how Anya Taylor-Joy gives me Uncanny Valley?
Does she also give you Uncanny Valley?
Not quite, but like, whatever feeling she's giving me flirts with Uncanny Valley.
Is it like... So when I see her, it feels like she has like a glow or like she's like a doll.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
She's like
porcelain. Like she's like fragile and beautiful and delicate is how.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Like nobody like put her on the shelf.
Yeah.
don't take her down. Got it. Okay, so she's just too pretty is the feeling she's giving me.
Every time I see her, I'm like, she's very...
Yeah.
Yeah, very pretty.
Yeah,
very pretty.
Yeah, okay. And now that we're talking about it, oh, God.
She makes me think about my skincare routine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. You nailed it. Mm-hmm. You nailed it. The feeling she's giving me is wash your face, dummy.
Yeah, I'm like... Do I use enough moisturizer? Obviously not. I know she's younger, but damn.
Is she taking collagen? Is it tretinoin? What is she doing?
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I get Instagram ads for it all the time.
I'm getting that mask that goes clear if you sleep with it on. and then you get glass skin afterwards.
Whoa.
Those are my ads.
Cool.
We both get skincare ads. We're women. I don't even know why I even. Yeah, that
we're
makes
women
sense.
of, I guess, a certain age now.
Okay.
I don't. That's.
Children should also wear masks.
Wait, to like face masks to sleep? To sleep?
Sure.
What are you saying?
I don't know. Don't you need to like treat your skin really good when you're young so it stays?
Yeah, but I think like drinking some water and putting on some sunscreen is probably...
Still
no, you know what?
Always
I don't have Cheryl Blossom skin, so...
Yeah, what does she do?
I don't know.
She's in LA. She's got somebody. Wait, is she in Canada? Where's Riverdale shot?
Almost certainly Canada.
Yeah,
but I
assume
Canada. What is her name? We're talking about the actress Madeleine Petsch.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Her character name in chapter 1 is Maya. And the only other character of note, like with a name, is Jeff
guy?
is the name of the character, and the actor is Ryan Brown. And I don't know him at all. Bone. You're right.
Bone. I've never seen him in anything.
No, I've never seen this man before in my life. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, so I have one thing to say about this guy, and it took me out of the movie like 4 times.
Is it that his character was a fucking asshole? Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, but that is true. His pupils were blown out the entire movie.
Oh.
And I was like, what the fuck? Is he like, I was like, what is he on? Huh. But his pupils were, like, hers weren't blown out, but his were. And I was like, whoof.
My man was just rolling the whole time.
I was
He's just
woof.
Loaded up on X for the whole movie.
It kept taking me out of the movie because I was like, what? And I'm like, no, I don't need to think about what he's...
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. And I was like, if you shot it over a couple days, you think at some point it would go down. Maybe I'm being too harsh on him. Maybe it's a genetic disorder. Probably not, though.
Trying to give the benefit of the doubt, talk yourself out of it. Okay, so I did very little research on this movie, but my understanding is that this is the first of a trilogy, and all 3 are supposed to come out this year.
Oh, I didn't know they were supposed to come out this year. They shot them all at once.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're going to do like a single cut where you can sit and watch the entire thing in one.
Well, I don't need to do that.
I'm wondering, and I've watched the other Stranger movies. There are other Stranger movies. One other one.
How many others? I
think there are
Pray
2.
at Night.
Yes, and then
I didn't watch it. I saw that it exists.
I've seen that one, and I thought there was another one, but maybe it's just that one, and I get them conflated. Because there's one that's at a trailer park, but I think that might be...
That's that one.
Okay. That's the one I remember is the trailer park one. Or there's a trailer that could just have a lot of land. Anyway, I did watch that one. I do not remember it. But I was like, that's fine. That's how I feel about all the Purge movies. I enjoy watching them every time. And I will watch any one of them that comes out and the TV show. But yeah, on USA, it's the best. Anyway, but yeah. Back to the movie, the 2 characters, and then there are a bunch of people.
Yeah, the townsfolk, the general
townsfolk. There are 3 movies. I hated that they called it Chapter 1 because it made me believe it was a prequel. And I was very excited. And I fucking hated that it wasn't.
Absolutely same. And that's not just because it was called Chapter 1. I rewatched the trailer because I was like, oh, I thought this was a prequel. Literally in the trailer, it says, see how they became the stranger. Like...
Yeah.
The trailer was implying that this was a prequel. And so when I was watching it, I was like...
Why the fuck do they have iPhones? Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, how are we going to... Like, having not seen The Strangers, I was like, maybe they conveniently didn't have phones in the first one. And so it could be like anytime, any place. I was like
but they
trying
had
to draw...
flip phone in the first one?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I didn't know when I was watching Chapter 1. So I was like, they could have anything. Maybe they didn't have anything. Maybe there was nothing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. And so is that just...
I was, and I can't blame the filmmaker because sometimes they splice the trailers to be different than the movie. So it might not have been the filmmaker's fault. However, the direction was probably the filmmaker's fault, which was not great. But, and I read the reviews and I was like, I agree with all these. And they were all so mean and not a good...
They were mean?
Sorry, there was one that I was just like, yeah, I completely agree with that. Hold on, let me...
I think
they forgot to add the rest of the movie. Okay, that makes sense. This came across...
Well, they did. It's a third.
Oh, comes a time to realize your time is too valuable to waste.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that was a 1 star. And I was like, that was fair. I left like viscerally angry for felt like a student film project that was a remake of the original.
Well, it was a remake of the original. So.
But like, and it was a reboot so they could continue making the movies and add on to the story.
I guess so.
But it's, this is, okay, and this is what I got frustrated with when we were recording Tarot. In Tarot, they did things that logically made sense.
Yeah.
In this movie, they did not at all.
Okay.
Fucking ever. And that's where I there are specific parts that I'm going to name. So, basically, strangers come in, they're in the house, they're trying to hide, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So they crawl under the house. She gets a nail in her hand, almost screams. They are very quiet. The moment they get outside of the house, they talk in a normal tone. Yes. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? They can hear you.
It's like, shut your fucking mouth.
What the hell? And I was so mad. I was like, I almost got up and I was like, I can't. I know. Oh my God. Let's go over to the shed. They're like, and then they get out and they're like, okay, let's go to the shed. Dude, shut the fuck. What? And then they just run. And I'm like, you're not even going to try to be quiet? Not even going to take a second? No. Not going to assess?
No.
Oh.
I also was really thinking about what I would do in this situation. There are more examples of bad decisions that I think that we should...
Oh, I'm excited to talk about them. There are definitely
continue
more.
to enumerate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I do have a question. Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of them, but let's start with this one. Let's say you are in this situation and you have made it into the foundation of the home.
Fucking stay there.
Fucking stay there. Am I right?
Yeah. Wait until morning.
Like, wait until morning.
What I would do is try to make it look like I went out the window.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
You're done.
Like, do a single misdirection.
Yeah.
Anything. Like, why?
Great question.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of this I was like, okay. Okay. And just around every turn, I was like, nope, would not have made that decision. Sane person would not have made that decision.
I do understand, like, with a lot of horror, people are like, oh, they didn't turn around and look over their shoulder. And it's like, they don't know they're in a horror movie.
Yeah.
They don't know that. This one, they knew. They knew pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. And every decision that was made was worse than one before it.
I will say there were some pretty bad decisions in the original.
And you have to rewatch
it. There were some bad ones.
I gotta rewatch that one.
So let me share with you my favorite bad decision in chapter 1.
Oh,
this was the moment when I was like, here we fucking go. And I just like buckled in for a dumb ride. When I know her name is not Cheryl in the movie.
Yeah, that's her name.
Maya.
That's her name in your heart. It's fine.
That's her name in my heart.
Yeah.
And in Riverdale.
Yeah.
So Maya, when Maya is, she's alone in the house because Jeff has gone to get dinner or whatever.
Okay,
his inhaler.
Yeah.
And she encounters one of the strangers, and she runs upstairs. Got to. Classic bimbo move. And I'm using bimbo not as an insult, but as the established horror trope.
Yep.
Uses her phone flashlight. Okay.
Yeah, turn it off.
Leaves it on when she's hiding in a closet.
In the dark?
Like, bitch, you know.
They can see you.
They can see. There's like a 2-inch gap between the bottom of the door and the floor.
You're telling them exactly where you are.
They can see you.
Oh, you should probably just have an air horn.
Yeah, like, just go out there.
Yeah.
Go out there. Offer them a puff of your joint.
Yeah, like zero survival instinct.
I mean, I don't even know that I have great survival instincts.
But enough to turn off your phone flashlight.
I know to turn off my phone.
Yeah.
I also, here's a flex. I am not proud of myself for anything. I have very low self-esteem. There are not many things that I'm like, I could do that successfully. Here's what I could do successfully. Be so quiet in a horror movie situation. I could be so quiet. None of this like whimpering. None of this. She's like covering her mouth to avoid making a sound. And I'm like, that's not even where the sound comes from. That comes from the throat. And she's covering her mouth and you can hear this.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Like, girl.
Cover your nose too, lady.
Honestly, breathing through your mouth might be quieter at this point. I just think I would be really good at that, at being quiet.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, you and me, we would be under the floorboards, quiet as shit. They would be like, well, I guess they left. And then they would leave.
I guess they're in the woods. Yeah, they'd probably go. They must go check looking for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd go check the shed. I don't understand. Okay, what's your next?
Okay, my next moment. I forgot about that moment. There's a lot around her and being alone and like walking outside to check stuff. And I was like, girl, don't. Tell
me more about that.
Don't walk outside to check?
Which parts was she outside?
Did she call him? She called someone.
Yeah, but that's before. So
but not the police.
She calls?
I would have called the police immediately.
Oh, yeah.
After that person was standing next to the house.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have.
Oh, I would have. I would have just been like, there's somebody that keeps coming. We're in the middle of the woods and we have no car to get anywhere. Yeah. There's somebody that keeps coming to our door and we have no idea who they are.
No, I feel confident that I would not have. And I'm not doing like an ACAB thing.
Oh.
Just like, although.
Well, now that you put in that context. Oh.
No, I just mean like, if a kid comes to my door asking for somebody, I'm honestly more likely, instead of calling the police, to be like, are you okay? Do you need to come in? Like, are you
I agree
safe?
with that. Yeah, I agree with that. And not get angry with them. Likely. I don't think I would have gotten angry. I would have been like, no, but do you need to call someone? Like, are you supposed to be out here?
Okay, it's late.
But I feel like it was, like, she didn't lock the doors for a while. First of all, why aren't your doors already locked?
I agree. As somebody who recently suffered a home invasion.
But there's just like a lot of, I wouldn't have, I say this, I haven't been in this situation yet.
Yet?
But like when somebody came and they started banging on the doors, that might have been when I would have called. If I was alone and somebody started banging on the doors, I would have been like, oh, okay, I definitely have to call. And especially if I knew my partner wasn't like back yet, like they're not back yet. This is very scary. They're not answering their phone. Gonna have to deal with it. And better safe than sorry.
I also, actually, let's back this all the way up. If I am in this middle of nowhere house.
Yeah, I would have never done any of these parts.
Yeah, no, I'm short-circuiting all of this. Like, If I am in this house getting frisky with my boyfriend of 5 years in the kitchen and somebody knocks on the door, do you know what my millennial ass is doing? Turning off all of the fucking lights and pretending I'm not there.
No, absolutely
why
not.
are you answering this door? Don't answer that door.
Yeah, and you're in the middle of the woods and there are no neighbors anywhere. Like, now I'm trying to, like, go back, but they, like, the town was already uncomfortable, and they were like, oh, yeah, this one guy rents out an Airbnb sometimes, and then they were like, oh, we booked it, and I was like, oh, that's convenient and weird, and all of that doesn't make any sense.
Convenient and weird.
And they were like, they ruined our car, and I was like, and then they suggested the Airbnb. No.
Yeah,
no.
None of that. None of that.
What?
And they even clocked that. They were like, they did something to the car.
Yeah. And she was like, no, it's fine. We'll just go stay. We should not be mean. And I was like, okay, guys.
Bitch,
okay.
You can be a little mean.
Yeah. And you probably should in this situation. This was not good.
This was not good.
And the one that got me, the most was, okay, at some point, they get into a car. After they get into a car and they can't drive off because a truck rams into them with one of the strangers in it.
Yes.
And
I know what you're going to say.
He gets
Keep
out
going.
and then everyone gets out. But the other car, still fucking running, still has its keys in it. He just doesn't get in the car and leave.
Nope.
That's all you have to do. Get the fuck in the car and go. Just get in the car and leave. You literally...
Especially...
You can go.
You can go.
You should go.
You can go.
He literally gave you a car with keys in it still running. They were in the car you were in, but they gave you another car.
Yes, yeah. I also was very surprised by that. Like, okay, how do we identify the strangers? So we've got man and bag.
Yeah, man bag.
Man bag. And then we've got...
Betty Page?
Sure.
Wait, is there one? There's like a... Is there a doll face and then like a Betty Page face? Or are they both doll faces?
Could not tell you. I could not
tell
them
look very similar.
Apart.
Yeah. Let me look at a picture.
I appreciated... so the women's hair in chapter 1 is concealed. But in the strangers, you can see that one has dark hair and one has blonde hair. And that's how I was able to keep them apart in the strangers. Sense. But in chapter 1, I was like, great, it's one of the two. It's one of the other two. I don't know which one this is.
Yeah, they do have like one of them has hair on their mask that comes down. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh,
yeah,
the
one
like
has
little
hair
curly
on their mask, but they both have like blush and little red lipstick. So they're basically the same.
Yeah,
except
I had trouble.
One has hair and one wears a hat.
Yes. Okay.
But the other one wears a hat just with the hair.
Wait.
They both have hats. But
they both have hats.
Yeah. Just one has hair.
One has hair on the mask.
On the mask.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one is more dressed up. Well, it's like a Mary Kate and Ashley situation.
Yeah.
One of them is Mary Kate, the other is Ashley.
Yeah.
One's sporty, one's
yes.
more dressed
baby.
Up. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Posh. It's posh and sporty.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have a question about the trailer. I think that there were multiple trailers for this. I say that as a question because
there might have been.
There might have been. The one I rewatched today did not have something that I thought I remembered being in the trailer. So something that I thought happened, and this
might happen in one of the other movies then.
Maybe, but I think that what I'm remembering, like I remember when the scene started in the movie and being like, oh, here's the thing. So here's what I thought was going to happen. To put it in context in the movie, I think that this is right after the car bad decision that we were just discussing. Running car that Jeff just leaves in search of this woman he loves. Secure the vehicle and then whatever. We don't need to rehash the bad decision. Come back. Yeah. It's right after that. So they are separated. And we have seen, if I'm remembering correctly, that Maya has been like captured by them, I think. But it's not the end of the movie yet. Mm-hmm. It's like right after Jeff killed the landlord by accident. Mm-hmm. So he's alone. It's that scene where the less dressed up, the sporty stranger comes, meets him in the wood. She's not saying anything. He pulls the gun on her and is like, I guess this is the end of the movie. And he's like, they say your first kill is the hardest. You're my second.
Yeah.
So, and then he doesn't kill her, notably.
Well, it's not that he's about to, and then he gets hit in the head.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm. But what I interpreted from a trailer was that was not one of the strangers, and that the reason she wasn't speaking was because that was Maya, and that she was bound and put in the costume.
So I didn't interpret that from the trailer, but while it was happening, I was like,
huh, okay. Okay, so there must have been something.
But I had that thought when I was watching it. I was like, oh, what if that's her? And I was like, oh, she wouldn't be doing this. And like, I was like,
yeah,
okay,
once I saw that her hands weren't bound, I was like, oh, that's her then. But okay. Yeah. Okay. Weird.
I had the same thought though when I was watching it. I was like, oh, that might be her. And I was like, maybe that's what they're... So I'm glad that we were aligned. Maybe it wasn't a trailer, but I don't...
Maybe it was.
I don't recall.
I don't know.
But I remember having that specific thought when I was watching this scene as well. I was like, is that her? And it's because she didn't say anything and she just hummed. That's why I was like, oh.
Well, and then there was a point where it was like she was screaming, but with her mouth closed. Mm-hmm. So I guess I thought it was going to be her.
Yeah, you thought
which is kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, the plot was going to be a little bit better. Oh.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It did what it did instead.
It did.
And then another part that didn't make sense is not waiting more than 2 seconds for someone to walk off before you call 911 and then walk out to try to get service to finish your 911 call.
Tell me when this was happening.
She was laying down with the dead bodies, and then she put a bunch of leaves over her. And then...
Smart!
The girl came up, and then... That's another moment where she was like, don't breathe.
Yeah.
And she kept, I was like, girl, it's not that hard.
Just be quiet. Oh my God.
I also feel, I don't know if I've ever been that scared, but I feel like when I'm scared, I'm quieter.
I don't really know. I don't value my life, so I don't get scared very often.
Well, that works. So then you're going to be quiet no matter what.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I would be so good in this situation. I mean, I would give up so fast. Don't get me wrong.
But she dialed 911 and then she was like, oh no, I'm losing service. And then immediately just started walking up and I was like, dude, she was just there not even a minute ago. Not even a minute. You're not even going to wait. Wait until you can't hear her walking anymore because there's no fucking way she's far enough that you can't hear her.
Especially when you are in the middle of a pitch black forest and you're holding up your little illuminated phone, like we've got that problem again. And every movement in those leaves is
so loud.
So loud. That's so loud. Dumb.
So bad.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time I just got taken out of the movie because I was like, no. Every turn was just like, no. Yeah, it was dumb, but I guess I'll have to rewatch the original because I don't.
Well, those bad decisions were less egregious. I didn't even write any down.
I'm trying to think of the direction. Like whenever they came out of the bottom of the house and they come out, do you think that both the actors were like, okay, let's go over to the shed? And then they were like, no, we can't hear you. You're going to have to be louder. And they're like, but wouldn't we need to be quieter? And then he'd be like, no, we need to be able to hear you. And they're like, okay, let's go to the shed. Okay.
Louder
so they can hear you. Oh, no.
Oh, perform for the person in the last row.
And they still lost. So hard.
Well, okay. That's another thing that I thought was going to come back. So when Jeff shoots the landlord. Actually, hold on. I got another thing I got to talk about. So they get to this, not even an Airbnb, is it? No, it is. It's an Airbnb in this one. In The Strangers, it's like
just a cabin they rented.
Just some guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jeff's dad's.
Oh, okay.
Place.
I was like,
his
I
name
don't
isn't
think
Jeff in The Strangers.
It wasn't in the original in The Strangers. They didn't have like going into a small town and things being weird. Like there was no early plot. It was just them going to the cabin.
And I want to talk about the differences there. So when Maya and Jeff get to this Airbnb, which is clearly a trap, as we have established, the refrigerator doesn't work. And she calls the owner to send out somebody to repair the fridge.
For one night.
Tonight.
For one night. Yeah, that made no sense. Just get a fucking cooler.
You don't even need that. All you guys have, you're getting burgers, takeout, and you've got beers.
Yeah.
The beers are going to be fine at room temperature. Like, this isn't...
You're going to be British today. That's okay.
And honestly, at this point, they'd already drank all the beers.
Yeah.
Beers are gone. So, like, we do not need this fixed tonight. So, that's my preamble to Jeff accidentally kills the owner when he comes, presumably, to fix the fridge, which I would not have come as the owner. I'd have been like...
It's one night. I'll come by tomorrow.
I will fix it tomorrow.
Yeah. You guys paid for one night. It's already like 10 o'clock. You're good. You're fine.
I'm already doing you a favor by booking it so last minute. No. So he shoots that guy because he does not look with his eyes.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure that was going to be a plot point. Like, oh, the first person that he shot was the wrong person. Now he's going to second guess his like survival instinct there.
Oh.
And I was like,
you're doing a good job rewriting this movie.
Well, I'm saying that none of this happened. This was all me anticipating because I had that idea from the trailer that he was going to wave a gun in Maya's face while she was wearing one of the stranger's masks. And I was like, oh, we're laying the seeds for him being gun shy, which is like going to be the second that he needed, that he's going to need later to determine that that's not an enemy. That's the woman he's in love with. Nope. None of that happened. None of that occurred.
Would have been cool though.
Would have been cool.
Man.
No, alas. Which is also, I think that they just put that in to mirror The Strangers because a very similar thing happens in The Strangers. Much sadder in The Strangers. What other dumb shit did they do?
Dude, okay. All of it. Even like the running around and the weird. So I went and watched it with my brother and he and I have a problem. So whenever we leave a movie, almost every time he talks about all the things he hated about it. And I was like, thank God we can finally agree and we can talk about this. But he was like, I just didn't understand the set at night. Like, why? Like, whereas the fog, he was like, that is the cheapest set I've ever seen in my entire, like the set for the forest. And I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, it just didn't, he was like, that took me out of it because it didn't feel real. And I was like, ooh, that part didn't take me out of it. But literally everything else did. So.
Yeah, I didn't notice that specifically.
Yeah, and even like, I don't know. And I like, the thing about The Strangers that was good was like, it did do that thing where you constantly feel like someone's behind you. And you see them as the viewer, but they never see them. And it tried to do that. It did do that in this movie, but it didn't scare me.
Well, I think I know why. So that's one of the things that I was like really focused on for a couple reasons. Here's my hypothesis is that in The Strangers, which you'll note I watched today in broad daylight and still got some good spooks out of it. The first time we see one of the strangers inside the house, he's like down a dark hallway. It's one of those things that like there was a moment where we can see him, but maybe not everybody who's watching the movie notices that because we've got such a depth of field. Like, Liv Tyler is so in focus, and God, this scene really struck me, because she's standing alone in the middle of the living space, and she's not even centered on screen, so that we really get the sense of like how isolated she is in this weird new space. And it was so quiet. Like, something about The Strangers is that there's almost no score to it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It's just quiet the whole time. And so her just standing there and like looking around and being what she thinks alone, like that already feels vulnerable. And then you can just see what did we call him? Bagman?
Yeah, Bagman.
Bagman. You can just see his little bag head in the dark hallway. And he's standing so still for like a solid 10 seconds. And then he just like shifts his weight a little. And I wonder how many people saw that in the theater and like did not notice him until he moved.
Oh, yeah.
Like I bet that was a direction he was given. Like, you have to shift just to draw
attention to
people's
you.
attention to you. Whereas in chapter 1, we get that scene and others where the strangers are watching, but they're so close. They're like a foot away.
Yeah, it's not believable. Like, I feel like whenever they're close, it's not believable. But having someone, like, we've talked about this before, and I think, did we talk about it on, we talk about it all the time. We talk about it, like, being alone in the house and not knowing what's going on in the other rooms. Like, this is a specific fear that addresses that. Like, and The Strangers, or chapter 1 didn't do that. It just like,
no,
it was like, oh, you should be scared because they're right next to you. And you're like, no, it's scarier that they're in the space that you're in and you cannot tell. And like, I don't know. It isn't believable that somebody is a foot away from me and I can't tell. Like, I don't really, I don't even like close my eyes very long when I shower because I am very paranoid. But I feel like that wouldn't be possible. But there could definitely be somebody just like around the corner.
Down the hall?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
absolutely.
is much scarier because that's much more likely to happen. Yeah. Somebody
honestly,
could just pop their head out and I'd be like, ah. But
for the listener, I'm pointing, there's just an open door behind me. There could be anything going on back there. And I don't know if you have seen my eyes. I'm checking that doorway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, looking over there, what's going on? That's so, or even just a few episodes ago, we have a recording of you asking me if there's somebody behind me in the house. Me going, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, because the window had the light go through. Yeah, that was scary for a second. Yeah, I remember.
I feel like if somebody is a foot away, I'm gonna notice
at least feel it. Like, that's one thing you can feel. That. You can feel those vibes. Like, you can feel the air change.
And like, yeah, you absolutely can feel the air change.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know, have you ever been really cold and then stood about that far from somebody and you can feel their body heat?
For sure, yeah.
Like, you can feel that.
Yeah.
Like a foot away, not seeing them. I don't know.
It just made it less believable and less scary because it was less believable.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I spent less time than I wanted to today because I watched the movie so late. But I spent a fair amount afterward being like, this is much more effective. And I can't. Here's another idea I have about why The Strangers is more effective than chapter 1. And it's sort of similar to that. Actually, this might be what I believe more than the last thing. Okay. I think they're the same thing, but in different ways.
Okay.
So, like we were talking about in The Strangers, that scene is a great example where Liv Tyler is like this tiny, like we get the whole expanse of the room. Whereas in chapter 1, it's very close shots, like up on their faces. Like, we don't get this sense of like, of space. We don't get a sense of space. And I don't even necessarily mean of like a large space. I just mean like, we don't get the sense of where we are, like physically. Yeah. We don't get a physical sense of where we are. I think that was missing. It's all very like,
I mean, it happens in like, you're in a closet, you're in a bathroom, you're under a house. So the house didn't feel like there was space for people to hide so much.
I feel like in The Strangers, we did a great, like I had something to do with it.
Job.
When I worked on The Strangers.
So impressed.
They did a great job of like making it feel unknown, making you feel observed. That movie makes you feel, you're like, oh, I am in a house at night with the lights on. Like I am in a fishbowl here. And it's too tight. The frames were too tight in chapter 1. We don't get that like I'm being watched sensation.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe the only time that you were supposed to feel that is when she's like playing on the piano and she looks behind her. That's about it. And even then it was just like, well.
See, and I felt like that was a good scene for a minute. Like when Bagman was still like in the hallway just watching her, that was pretty spooky. But then when he came in and sat in the chair like 4 feet from her, I was less scared. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why did I feel that way?
I feel like it's more unnerving whenever, I don't know, I feel like the less movement was more unnerving and the like, they are just there all, like, it feels like they're just there all the time. And it's not like they walk in and out. Like, I feel like it just feels like they're always there regardless of, you just can't see them. But the other one, you're right. Oh, they're not there. They're there. They're not there.
Right. Like they're in the room when they're here.
So, like,
yeah, I think you nailed it. Yeah. I didn't like the men in either of these movies.
I do not remember the man in the original Strangers, if I'm being honest. So I do need to watch it again.
That's for the best.
I, of course, remember Liv Tyler because she does a great
Stunning
job.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Stunning beauty.
But same with Glassface. Dollface. What's her name? Cheryl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. I already forgot. Cheryl.
Yeah.
Maya. Yes. Actually, when we were talking about her face earlier, I started thinking about how I finally watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Liv Tyler, beautiful elven face.
Yeah.
I think Cheryl has a little bit of an elvish
just that
glow about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting luminescence.
Yeah. Maybe they'll tap her for Rings of Power.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. That's another little elf.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah.
Like she's already got it.
Yeah, she's already got
it. Good
for her.
No, in both the guys were okay. In both, the men reminded me of that scene in Barbarian where our main gal comes running up the stairs and Bill Skarsgård is like, "Why are you so scared of the basement?" And she's like, "Fucked up room, camera, ah!" And he's like, "I'm sure it's fine. Like, I don't believe you."
Yep. Just a bunch of invalidation. Yeah.
Just so much invalidation. Like, if I come home and the woman I love is terrified, hiding in a closet with her fucking flashlight on, first of all, I'm going to be like, "I believe you. There's something scary here. Turn off the goddamn flashlight."
Let's go into let's take that motorcycle I have and let's just leave.
Let's bounce.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I wouldn't
like,
feel safe with someone who would force me to try to be comfortable with it after I felt so uncomfortable. I would not feel safe.
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
And on top of that, oh my God. So he comes home. She's terrified. He's like, "Oh, you were just high. Oh, you saw this painting. Here's why I'm not marrying you." That's why. This conversation. And after that, when he discovers that there are home invaders, they break down the bedroom door where they're hiding and then leave. And he gets up and like looks out of the hallway and they're not there anymore. And he's like, "They're gone. We're safe."
What?
Will you stop minimizing this whole situation? Why would you think that we're safe?
They're gone. We have to figure out what to do next.
Yes. Like, what is our plan?
Yeah.
So what? They're gone, and so what? We're staying? So now we're staying?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? You lunatic. No, if I come home and the person that I love is terrified out of their mind, I'm not going to tell them they're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Happened in both.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
They both suck.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, so the big difference between the two movies in terms of plot is that the first one is much scarier because they genuinely don't have, like, we don't know anything about where they are or what the town is. Like, we are just dropped into this remote,
seemingly normal
cabin. And we're so caught up. There's like high drama happening between those two characters. Like, we're dropped into the middle of a day in their life where he has proposed to beautiful Liv Tyler, who has said no thank you. And now they are staying at this cabin together for the night. Don't do that. Get a hotel with different rooms. So that's fine. We're not hashing the bad decisions of the first one. But anyway, my point is, in The Strangers, we're just plopped into a day.
Yeah.
Like a day in somebody's life. And now this fucked up shit is happening. And we get no motive, no reason. The strangers don't seem to know who our main characters are in any way. And then I knew that this was like one of the classic, like, scary lines of a horror movie. And it's chilling. So at the end of The Strangers, our two main characters have been captured. And they're like, why are you doing this to us? And the stranger says, because you were home.
Yeah.
That's very scary. That's a scary thing to hear. And in chapter 1, there's this whole, like, it seems like the whole town is in on it.
Yeah.
And, like,
there's some religious aspect.
There's some religious aspect.
That we're gonna
so those pamphlets were
in.
The pamphlets were in The Strangers as well.
Oh.
Those two kids with the
dropped
pamphlets.
off the pamphlets. Did they drop off pamphlets?
I don't remember them dropping off pamphlets, but they are the ones in The Strangers. I mean, not these literal kids, I don't think, but same. Two weird kids in white shirts handing out religious pamphlets. In The Strangers, they are the ones who find the bodies and call the police the next day.
Okay. So is this the part that's like, because it is loosely based on a true story.
Oh.
Which, if we had more time, which I did not research.
Which?
I
was thinking about. Oh, sorry. Let me finish this first point, and then we can go back to that.
Sounds good.
Which is, in chapter 1, the religious thing is hit harder, and it seems like the town decided to kill them because they were unwed.
Oh.
Did you get that impression? There was just like a lot of like, oh, you're not married? Like, they were reasonably friendly until they found out that they weren't married.
Oh, maybe.
And then there was like,
well, we'll have to watch
judgment.
2 and 3 to find out.
Yeah.
Will we?
I will, because I wasn't filled with the same. I saw a lot of, like,
I do want to know
vitriol.
what happened. But I think the beauty of The Strangers was that it didn't have the backstory. And I feel like this is about to give it a bunch of back. And that's also what I was worried about, it being a prequel. So I was already worried going into it because of that. And then it wasn't. And then it made me mad because it was the same movie, except not as good.
Not as good.
So then I was like, oh, God, no. Though the first film was marketed as based on a true story, this was a slight misdirect, as the filmmaker stated that he wrote the concept from a series of break-in burglaries that took place in his neighborhood when he was growing up, as well as borrowing elements from the Manson family Tate murders.
Okay, so I read about that first part, which is interesting. because the thing that was happening in the director's neighborhood, like, happened at his house.
Oh.
Up to the invasion. So it was people going around. One of them would come to the door and ask, "Is so-and-so home?"
Oh.
And if nobody answered the door, then they would break in. So he was home one night, answered the door to this group of people, these home invaders. But obviously he was home, so they didn't break in. And it wasn't until later that he learned that it was those people. And I wondered about the Manson Tate thing, because The Strangers has like a 70s slasher feel to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I can describe why I feel that way. Maybe the pacing? Maybe the masks.
You had Leatherface.
Maybe the masks.
Jason, Michael Myers. Yeah. Like, the masks really kind of bring in. And maybe if they didn't have bag face, it wouldn't feel that much that way.
Maybe. But that's not even really, or at least I don't think that that's really what I'm... I think it might be like the color grading. Or also, maybe not even the color grading. Maybe the cabin was very 70s.
Well, in the Strangers, like, even their clothes kind of look 70s. She was wearing like a flannel and like kind of a flare maybe on her pants. I just remember I remember that vibe being 70s. And then she listened to a record. Is that right?
Yeah, records in both though.
Yeah. But the other one didn't have that same throwbacky vibe. I would have been, you know what I wish would have happened? A, it would have been a different movie, but B, that it would have been set like 90s. I think that would have been a way to capture that in a way that, like, I get that you're trying to reinvent it for a newer audience, but you could definitely grab on that nostalgia, because that's the group that's going to be watching it now. And you could probably, and I'm saying that like, oh, the only people that, I think we might be the only people that go to movie theaters. So
it does seem that way.
So I feel like if they had said it in the 90s and at least kind of did a little bit of a twist there and maybe like leaned into something like that.
Yeah.
That might have helped. But it was kind of like, I don't know. It just like the movie didn't, and I wanted it to be okay. I didn't expect it to be good, but I was like, it might be okay. Like it's got good source material. And then I was like, I didn't like, they made the same movie, but like bad. And then I just like was really disappointed when I left.
I was disappointed retroactively. Having not seen The Strangers, I was like, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, I knew the premise of The Strangers. I knew that it was a home invasion movie. I knew that we had the 3 masked weirdos. But other than that, I didn't know anything. And I guess there isn't a ton more to know. That's really the crux of it. And so going into chapter 1, I was actually kind of optimistic. Oh. Like, I didn't know what to expect from this movie specifically, like from a Strangers franchise, I guess.
And I did also like the other Strangers, so I thought it would be okay. Well, like I watched the other Strangers and I remember I didn't like it as much as the Strangers, but I was like, not bad, not terrible. Yeah. So I was expecting that level. And I was like, this will be like that, and then I will enjoy it. But I just left angry. I left angry, which I do not like. And I didn't leave angry because the movie had elements in it that caused anger in my body. I was angry because I didn't like, you know what I mean? Because when a movie makes you feel something, I would consider it good even if it's not.
Right.
Yeah,
it elicits a reaction.
I feel uncomfortable. I want to die. But good job.
I mean, darken the wicked.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if a movie makes me feel something, I'm going to like it. But this movie made me feel angry, but not in the way that it made me.
Yeah, not
in a good way. So I'm going to watch the rest of them because, of course, I am.
Yeah.
And I need to know what continues to happen. Because you told me about the end credit scene, which I did not know was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a little not even post credits. It's like a mid credits.
Yeah. It shows how quickly I left.
I mean, I don't think that I would have stuck around, except that I was alone in the theater. So I wasn't even looking at the screen. I expect what happened is that I was turning on my phone to text you. And it just happened around me. And so even that implies okay, let me finish one sentence, even one. So in this like mid credits scene, Maya wakes up in the hospital, and when she sits up, Baghead is laying in the hospital bed with her. Not Baghead, Bagman. Baghead is another movie.
Oh, Baghead is another movie.
Bagman is in bed next to her. And then we resume credits. And so leaving, my mind was spinning, trying to imagine how this leads in. Like, how was this a prequel? Okay, this is a prequel. Okay, so Baghead goes after her. Mm-hmm. Or maybe this is her fiance because he proposed to her moments before his death. So I was like, maybe he didn't die. Maybe this is a little bit like a Ready or Not situation. And so he is like one from a long line of strangers, and he lured her to this house to put her through this. And now he's come back to be like, surprise, bitch, I'm alive.
You're giving this so much more lore
you married
than it deserves.
Me. I was trying. I was like, how is this going to be a prequel? And it just isn't, is the answer. Yeah. It's just not.
I feel like that scene is also going to be, because if it's 3 movies, I expect it to carry on. So I think it's going to be like PTSD, and she's going to wake up.
Oh, lame.
Has anything else in the movie not been?
No, I expect you're right.
I'm going to feel really bad if they listen to this podcast and then they're like, oh, fuck. We're trying to help you. We're trying to help.
I'm just saying, maybe y'all should have made 1 movie and put all your work into it instead of
3.
amortizing it across 3.
I think that they could have. Here's what I feel. And I believe that people are talented. And I feel like this movie could have been a good movie if it wasn't, and by a good movie, I mean like a funny horror movie that's so bad it could be good. If it wasn't a remake of one that already exists. I think if they had decided to just make a completely brand new horror movie and made it this stupid, I would have fucking loved it. Honestly, I would have loved it. And I would have seen it as like something where I would have just been like, exactly like you said, at the point wherever she was with her phone with the light on, you were like, okay, now I'm buckling up for this dumb ride. Like,
I was like, oh, we're not doing anything serious.
Like, I would have been okay with that movie being a movie if it wasn't a remake of a movie that was done so like well.
Yeah.
And then like just doing it not well is a bummer. So like I feel like they could have done something. Like, I don't feel like this person, and I'm not even saying their name because I don't know the director. It's like a pair, right?
Hold on.
Male and female. Or one of them.
The director
was the writer.
is. Wait. I'm seeing totally different groups. So, director is Rennie Harlan. And then we've got 3 writers against it, but I think Brian Bertino wrote the original movie. Yeah. So then we've got the other writers who are listed are Alan R. Cohen and Alan Friedland.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I was thinking of. But I think that like...
in to see who they are now.
I just feel like if they had made a different movie and then they had hammed it up a little bit more, I could have really loved it. If it was a different movie and hammed up more, I think it could have been... I think that this would have been a completely different review.
I wondered... So I didn't read any reviews, but I did search The Strangers on YouTube when I was looking for the trailer. And so many videos came up where people were clearly pissed. Like all of the thumbnails were them like making like astonished and upset faces. And I was like, got it. People are pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, it wasn't a good movie, but I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not upset about it. It's just not a good movie. Like, not every movie can be good.
Yeah, I agree.
But it seems like this one really pissed people off. And so I was excited to watch The Strangers because I was like, oh my God, I don't know if it's because we were just talking about The Ring, but it's gotten so much darker in the hallway behind me that this.
Oh, that little white thing.
Well, this looked like.
Yeah.
The white looked like Samara's gown, and this looked like an arm reaching around
holding
the corner.
Onto the door. So, yeah. No, I see it. I see it as well. It's because your screen also looks like a painting.
Screenshot. Oh, it's because it's dark. My camera doesn't do well with low light. What was I saying? I was making a point. I bet it was so smart and good.
You were talking about people who were really angry. And then you went to watch
So I was excited to watch The Strangers because I was like, largely this movie was inoffensive. Like chapter 1 was inoffensive. It wasn't good, but like
I think it would have been fine had I not watched the other one and had it to compare to. If that didn't exist, I think I would have felt completely different. I
think that must have been the case. Like, nobody would have thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
You know? But it was fine. It was fine. Like, I've watched way worse on here. You know what? I just thought of a worse movie. Ouija.
Okay. I was like, Origin of Evil was so good.
No. Origin of Evil's so good.
I forgot about normal Ouija. I feel like that one was fine. That was a neutral movie. Fine. Yeah, I feel like this one was also neutral. No, it could have been neutral, but it was negative because of the comparison.
Because of the comparison.
Yeah. And I think that's where they messed up. I think it could have been fine.
I really was optimistic.
Is there another word for strangers? Not known people.
Yeah. Out of towners.
Yeah, something like I don't know if that would work for the name. But if they just changed the name and then like
just oh no.
Yeah. And even if they like changed the name and made it a little bit different, like maybe use different masks, and then at the end I'd be like, I think they ripped off The Strangers, but this is fine. Like I think I would have been okay with that. Like I would have been like, okay, I'm excited to see the rest of it. But I don't think yeah.
But seeing how much fury it aroused in YouTubers, I was like, this is one of two things. Either YouTubers need to calm down, or like The Strangers original has like inspired so much love in people that they have to be mad. Like they couldn't have been happy. There was no other choice. And so I was excited going into The Strangers. And it was good. And they did a lot of things really well. And then it just got really slow.
Yeah.
Liv Tyler though.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. I was looking up the director, Rennie Harlin.
Yeah, he's done a lot of horror, but not any that I've seen.
No, there's one that I have been working my way up to, and by up, maybe I mean down.
Okay. I was like, should we not?
No, I think that we should. I really think that we should. It's called Devil's Pass, and it's about the Dyatlov Pass.
That's what I was going to ask, and I almost watched it because of that. Oh my god! Executive producer. The Resident. Who? Sorry. We did watch that.
Oh.
I got so excited. He works with Gina Davis a lot as a producer.
Oh.
Are they? No, they're not. It's fine.
There's no way. And then this writer, one of the writers, I don't recognize any of his stuff. The things he's known for, shockingly, King of the Hill, 61 episodes. Oh, as a producer.
Yeah, I think that these people were producers. Like, primarily producers, and then...
Same with Alan Friedland. Looks like he's worked on... Yeah, you said that it was like a pair of writers. I think you're right. I think it's these two Allens who have just bopped around working on stuff together. They've got the same movies.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. The Dream Master.
The Dream Master. What year did that come out?
1988.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, but he did Cutthroat Island, The Long Kiss Goodnight. Oh, he did Deep Blue Sea.
Oh. Wait, in what capacity?
Director.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Exorcist: The Beginning. Oh, no. He did direct him, and I remember being like, oh, we're going to have to talk about this. Did you see the movie that I was going to say?
No.
The Covenant? The one that I was like, oh, we can do all the spin-off movies. It is a bad movie. No, see, okay, I'm correct. This director is not bad. Like, that movie is bad, but it is bad in, like, a laughable way. So, like, I like that movie.
Wait, like, intentionally?
I don't know if it was intentional.
Or is this director bad and he just didn't upset you last time?
I loved it and I owned it. I own it on DVD and
I know, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I am a big fan of this director.
Yeah, listeners, I could show you a spreadsheet
it's true.
that proves this.
And I feel like I have a feeling, and I feel very validated in the fact that I was like, if this had just taken a different title and done something different, I could have really enjoyed it. And I am happy. That's how I felt, because after re-looking at that, maybe I already had that in the back of my head and I forgot. But so I really wanted to defend him, maybe. But I'm actually, I feel like he had the ability to make, because it, like, every fucking move in this movie was so stupid.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's the dumbest. But I think that would make for a good movie if I did not go into it expecting it to live up to the hype of The Strangers. Like, if you had been like, this is a movie about people that get attacked in a cabin in the woods and don't affiliate it with The Strangers, I would have probably enjoyed it as a dumb movie, and I would have sat through it and probably laughed a lot.
I mean,
I would have felt delight, not anger.
Such a risky move to, like, remake something that was dated. So it's not dated at all. Like, it works. I mean, the flip phone, sure, but, like,
there's a flip phone in this movie.
Flip phones still exist. In fact, they're coming back. So, that's just such a risky move to take a movie that is known. Yeah. It's not like they're remaking some obscure movie. And my understanding is that The Strangers is, like, revered as an excellent example of how to do, like, isolation movie. Like, it feels like a bottle episode, but it's a whole movie. Yeah. And my understanding is that The Strangers is, like, widely agreed to be an excellent example of that. Like a gold standard almost. So it is so risky to say, I'm going to remake that and not bring anything new to it, and also not execute even a carbon copy very well. Yeah. Like, I was sort of optimistic going into it, because when you've got stakes like that, like, surely we were working very hard
to try to.
And horror has been so good lately that I was like,
oh, yeah.
Maybe this is going to slap. Unlike Slapface.
Oh. We keep saying that, and I feel like that's going to be one that comes around. And because we talked about...
Should we watch it?
Yeah, we might. Because even... What was it? We were talking about something running through the woods. Like that.
I was imagining the scene in Slapface where somebody is riding piggyback style on the witch in Slapface. I don't remember what movie we made that comparison in.
Was it Castle in the Sky? Probably not, but I don't know why that came into my
Could have been, though. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. What am I trying to say? I was disappointed by the movie leaving the theater, but not in a way that I was going to think about. I was like, not stellar, but whatever, I'll just forget it. I'll just forget the movie. Yeah. And then that'll be fine. And then after watching the original, I became more disappointed. Yeah. Like, oh man, they really did
fuck it up.
mishandle that. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well. What can you do?
Yeah.
I didn't like these people. I was looking at the actor who played Jeff. So I was just having Jeff feelings.
Yeah, that's
toward
fair.
him. Why did he have asthma?
Yeah, and question. Bottle? What the fuck?
I think I've seen that before.
Is that really
I think that's
thing?
like, I think it is. I think it's similar to breathing out of a paper bag.
That's supposed to calm your nervous system.
They do the same thing.
Does it cause like pressure to open the airway or something?
I don't know that it opens the airway, but yes, pressure. It makes you take slower breaths.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in chapter 1, our guy loses his inhaler like an idiot and finds a plastic bag in the woods that he like twists in the middle and then breathes through the plastic bag or the bottle, plastic water bottle.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is any part of that necessary for the plot?
I think it was just
so he would leave.
I think it was just so he would leave because in the original, he leaves to go get Liv Tyler cigarettes. And we can't do that in 2024. Nobody's smoking.
Could get some vape juice.
I know, but I was thinking about this too, because it was like...
Gonna get that vape juice?
If he has to go out to get her drugs, people are going to be like, she deserved what she got.
I'm trying to think of what else you could go out and get. I mean, she did
dinner.
She did drugs.
I know that she did drugs, but
yeah, dinner's fine.
There's a difference between casual doobie versus go get me weed.
Well, I feel like
just dinner. Just go get dinner.
It was to build our artificial suspense, but it didn't work.
No.
I was like,
how is it supposed to manufacture more stress for me? Just because I'm like,
God, he's gonna get caught. Oh God, the asthma. He doesn't have his inhaler. He's gonna breathe really loud. Oh God, this. But none of that really came to fruition. Fruition.
No, but can you imagine how funny it would be if the strangers find him dead in the woods from an asthma attack,
and they're just like,
like, oh.
I wonder, do they enjoy doing this?
I think so.
Or do they feel like
that's their whole thing
to do it?
Oh,
like is it like a thing that they have to do?
Interesting. So there was a very compelling moment in the original The Strangers where Liv Tyler is hiding in a closet and the blonde stranger, the youngest stranger, makes eye contact with her and does not immediately attack and is in fact sort of playing with a knife on the table. And there's like this moment of hesitation and the stranger does not attack until Liv Tyler grabs a weapon. And then at the end of the movie, the other stranger with the dark hair, who I think is older. I got the impression that this was a little bit like a family, like mom, dad,
kind of
baby stranger. And at the end of the original, mom stranger says to baby stranger, it'll be easier next time. And so it seemed like in that first one, there was some sort of tension that was maybe like an inaugural kill. So it did seem like there's a whole dynamic going on there. And so I was but I was reflecting on chapter 1, like looking for that after watching the original.
Oh, I don't remember anything feeling like a hesitation.
No hesitation. There's one humanizing moment in chapter 1 where Bagman and hair mask like hug for a minute.
Yeah. To show that they're mommy and daddy.
They're mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy. For sure. For sure.
We have to have sexual tension.
But it is like in the original Strangers, like you want to know more about them. And there's like but in the other one, I didn't get that as much. Like I wasn't like, I was like, oh, honestly, it could be anybody in the town. I don't care.
Yeah, whole town's fucked, I guess. Yeah.
But then you like, that like gives you a little bit of it allows you to ask more questions. But I feel like this movie didn't allow you to ask more questions. It was just kind of like, okay, this is fine.
Well, and I feel like having the whole town in on it, I think that was like the difference that they were trying to do between the two movies.
Is the whole town in on it, or are they just all weirdos?
I don't know.
And are they weirdos because somehow people keep dying in their town, so they're really suspicious of anybody that comes by?
Oh, that's a fair question.
Maybe I'm helping them write it. Too bad they already made the other ones.
There's nothing we can do at this point.
Hopefully that's what they did.
Oh man, do you think that they're going to be embarrassed to have to put out 2 and 3?
Oh, for sure. After these reviews,
people are like shitting on chapter 1, and they're like,
maybe we shouldn't.
Boy,
honestly,
we already
if they
them.
had leaned into making it ridiculous, I would. There are parts in the Covenant where they do lean into making it ridiculous, and if they could do that in the other ones, maybe that's how I will approach the other ones. I'm just going to be like, this is going to be fucking ridiculous, and I'm going to like it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to force myself to like it.
No, but then I think you're going to be disappointed that it's not ridiculous enough. You're going to be like, fucking watch Dead and Breakfast and know it in your heart.
Nothing can compare. That's not even fair to say.
You know what? You know what would be a great Halloween costume for the two of us? We dress as these weird kids in The Strangers, in both of them. And the pamphlets that we're handing out are Dead and Breakfast and Debs.
Oh, perfect.
2 flawless movies that people just need to know about.
We should burn them on DVDs and hand them out. Yeah.
Yes. Nobody can play DVDs.
I was like, who will be able to play it?
Flash drives. We'll get flash drives.
Perfect. I was trying to think.
We'll print out passwords to a Dropbox where they can download
Genius.
it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, God. Yeah. If you aren't, I don't know, if you're not precious, I guess. That's not the word I'm trying to say. If you're not partial to the original The Strangers, then I don't think that this is like
good or bad.
Well, it's not good. It's just like
it's there.
It's there. Like, it's fine.
You can watch it if you want to watch a series of movies. This is going to be 3 movies.
It'll certainly take up an hour and a half.
I can guarantee you've probably seen worse movies. Ooh, is it worse than Night Swim?
I can't help with this one. I don't know.
I don't think it is, but I don't know if that's just because of the comparison between the two. I don't know.
Okay, I need to watch Night Swim, and you need to watch Thorns.
Okay, okay. I like how I agreed to it and then immediately regretted agreeing to it.
No, I mean, Thorns is really bad. but it's ridiculous. Okay.
And I do love ridiculous, so I'm in. All right, I've got nothing left to say about either Strangers, I don't think.
Yeah, did it scare you? Were you scared?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
No. Yeah. No, regrettably, no. What was the tagline? It was something like, they don't need a reason or something.
Oh.
Which stinks because, like, oh my God, I do have one more thing to say. Yes. I do have one more thing to say. And it is related to that. So, putting on the tagline that they don't need a reason sort of sucks because that was like in the original Strangers when they say, why are you doing this? Because you were home. That's like a very like oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me goosebumps, and I had already seen chapter 1. Like, that's a very upsetting reveal. And that's sort of taken away from you in chapter 1.
Yeah.
But here is a big thing that I think is really notable, which is that line in The Strangers is so scary. And it's like the one scene that happens during the day. Like, that's the one broad daylight scene that we get. And that's like such a powerful moment to be like, we just made it through the night. Like, we made it through the dark part of the night. We should be safe now. The sun is up. But that's like not how home invasions work. Like, they're just people. So that's super scary. And we don't get that sort of like that additional heightened terror in chapter 1. Like, it's all dark. Even when she wakes up in the hospital, it's dark. It's nighttime. Yep. So that was just kind of a bummer, and not something that I would have noticed or that I would have called out if I hadn't watched The Strangers afterward. So that's it. That's the last thing I have to say. What movie are we doing next?
That's a great question. I don't know. Oh, I'm going to go see Watchers this weekend.
Me too.
Okay, perfect. Watchers it is.
Great. Watchers. We promised an Arcadian episode a while back, but
we will get to it. I do want to talk about it, but it might be quick. There is something specific I want to talk about really bad. And I'm assuming that's also what you want to talk about really bad.
It's gotta be. Yeah. It has to be, right?
So we'll have to hold that in. This is one of those things where Kelly and I really want to talk about something, but we keep holding it in for you, the listener.
We're saving it for the pod. Yeah. Okay. In 2 weeks or
sometime.
Another amount of time, we will be back to discuss The Watchers, which is new movie out. Looks like grown-up Dakota Fanning, keep forgetting that she's a grown-up now, is captured, question mark, by weird monsters, question mark, who watch her. Period. I know that part's true. It looks good. Looks very scary. I'm excited. And in the meantime, you can follow us on social media at NoShowMonster. You can email us, noshowmonster@gmail.com. It would be sick and dope and radical if you would leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. That would be very cool. Tell us which mask you would wear. 2 of them look very similar. So keep that in mind.
I did wear the same jacket that the guy wears. I noticed that when I was leaving, and I was like, oh, it looks like I dressed up for the movie. And then I felt kind of weird about that. I was like, I'm not like a super fan. I just had gotten that jacket, and I like... See, no, you gotta lean in. You gotta lean in. Now every time I go to a horror movie, I have to dress like the character. Just a little bit. I mean, I need to add more stuff to my wardrobe, so this is a creative way to do it. I'm gonna carry a birdcage to the Watchers when I go. Perfect. Okay, listeners, we will see you soon to talk about the Watchers. Happy spooky. Happy spooky.